Today we're going to discuss the impact of deforestation on Queensland's wildlife. Queensland has rich biodiversity with 85% of Australia's animals, 72% of its native birds, and 50% of its native frogs, most of whom live in bushland. Although the state has one of the highest deforestation rates in the world, averaging nearly 400,000 hectares of land per year, the issue is this is destroying native habitats and putting this wildlife at risk. As at the 30th of April 2021, there are 236 threatened animal species in Queensland, with a large amount of these being threatened because of loss of habitat. How does deforestation endanger animals in Queensland? During land clearing, some animals are harmed or killed by the machinery used for clearing. Some will also die by falling from trees as they are cut down. Some animals remain in their habitat after clearing and succumb to starvation or dehydration, or they are caught by predators. Other animals who escaped can die while looking for other habitats. On their escape, they can be hit by a vehicle, get caught in a fence, be caught by a predator, or become too injured or exhausted to continue. Some of the main drivers for deforestation in Queensland are clearing land for livestock grazing at 91%, forestry at 5.4%, cropping at 1.7%, and mining at 1.1%. Interestingly, prior to European colonization, approximately 80% of Queensland was covered by forests, and now only 30% remains covered. In Queensland, millions of animals are killed every year because of deforestation. In 2017, a World Wildlife Fund report estimated that between the years of 2015 and 2016, 44.7 million animals were killed in Queensland, mostly from deforestation. And these numbers in Queensland contribute to Australia having one of the worst extinction rates in the world. Also, Queensland has a lot of tourists coming every year to visit its natural habitats, such as rainforests. This brings a large amount of money to the economy. Therefore, if these natural habitats are destroyed, there's less money for the economy. Also, Queensland is a world-class leader in biodiscovery, with contributions to areas such as natural pesticides and pharmaceuticals. It's also important to protect forests because trees remove carbon from the atmosphere, which helps with climate change. And lastly, everyone should want to preserve Queensland's natural beauty for the future generations. Now, what's currently being done to protect animals in Queensland is some land clearing operations will use spotters and catchers who will go around before, during, and after land clearing to look for animals they can rescue and relocate. Also, vegetation laws such as the Natural Conservation Act of 1992 and the Nature Conservation Regulation 2020 exist. The government also creates protective areas for endangered species such as national parks, and the government sometimes provides financial incentives to landholders who engage in bush regeneration and preservation. And lastly, organizations such as the Wilderness Society, World Wildlife Fund, and departments of the Queensland government are raising awareness of the impact of deforestation on wildlife by publishing reports and engaging on social media. Now, what can be done in the future? Examples of this are setting yearly caps on land clearing for land clearing operators, increasing incentives to preserve bushland to landowners, strengthening state vegetation laws, increasing spotter and catcher presence during land clearing, and making it mandatory as well. Another example is requiring land clearing operators to contribute to bush regeneration efforts, either financially or through labor, and also increasing funding to wildlife rescue and research will also be helpful in the future. And lastly, encouraging deforestation-friendly supply chain and carbon-neutral meat industry will also help protect animals in the future. This concludes my presentation on how deforestation impacts wildlife in Queensland. Thank you.